Zeus, the god of thunder, the king of the Greek gods, and the ruler of Olympus, the supreme deity in ancient Greece. It was believed Zeus was so powerful he ruled the skies and controlled the weather. For a being as powerful as Zeus, can there be anything or anyone he fears? Zeus was not afraid of almost anything. But Zeus was afraid of Nyx, the goddess of the night. Though little is known about Nyx, she is said to be one of the most powerful goddesses in the Greek pantheon. But to really understand the power of Nyx, we'll have to understand Zeus and his powers, being known as the father of all gods. Zeus, the son of Kronos, the Titan god of time, and Rhea, the Titan goddess of female fertility, was prophesied to be the most powerful gods when he was born. When Cronus heard this prophecy, he became fearful that one of his children would overtake him and decided to swallow all of his children. Zeus survived because Rhea tricked Cronus into eating a rock wrapped in blankets instead of baby Zeus. Zeus and the Olympians eventually succeeded in taking power away from Cronus and the Titans, and upon their victory, Zeus crowned himself the god of the skies. Note that while Zeus is considered the most important and perhaps most powerful god, he is not omniscient or omnipotent. This means he is not all-knowing or all-powerful. As a matter of fact, none of the Greek gods are omniscient. Instead, they all have certain areas of influence and power. Contrary to the popular belief of Zeus being the ultimate all-powerful god of Greek mythology, there is actually no all-powerful god in Greek mythology. In his reign as king of gods, Zeus was deceived and opposed by both gods and men many times, and his ability to be tricked shows he is not all-powerful. Hence, we often find stories, or perhaps much of the stories in Greek mythology, include the gods fighting and deceiving each other, taking revenge for this and scheming to do that, and so on. Zeus's authority in the pantheon was most notably challenged on one occasion when Hera, Athena, and Poseidon bound Zeus to a bed and tried to take over his position as leader of the gods. But while Zeus can be tricked and deceived, we seldom see Zeus fearful or afraid of another god. Rather, many myths feature situations in which gods or men are afraid of angering Zeus. Now when it comes to Nyx, that's a different story. So, who is the powerful goddess of the night, Nyx? Nyx is a mysterious figure, because she rarely appears in surviving mythology of Greek gods. Nyx is the goddess of night and is much older than Zeus and the other Olympian gods and goddesses. Greek mythology consists of several different generations of deities. The most well-known and most commonly worshipped historically are the Olympians: Zeus, Hera, Hades, etc. Before these came the Titans, and before the Titans came the Protogenoi. The Protogenoi were the primordial gods. According to Greek mythology, when the universe first came into being, the primordial gods were there, fully formed. These primordial gods each represented a different aspect of existence. Together, they formed what is the building blocks of the early universe. And the primordial god Nyx represented the night. Nyx played an essential role in shaping the universe and birthing several other important primordial gods. As a primordial, she outpowers even the mighty Zeus, known as Father of the Gods. So, in a sense, you might as well call Nyx the mother of the father of the gods. Now, the family tree of the Greek gods is beyond complicated. It is more than a little incestuous, as it turns out the Greek gods worked within a fairly tight gene pool. Nyx is almost at the top of this family tree with only one generation above her. She is the daughter of Chaos, the first of the Greek deities to come into existence. Chaos was originally depicted as the goddess of the air. Later, classical authors redefined her as the chaotic mixture of elements that came before creation. This is where the modern-day meaning of the word comes from. Shortly after Chaos emerged, she was followed by Gaia, Tartarus, and Eros, who all went on to create their own protogenoi. Chaos, for her part, birthed 2 children, Erebus, the personification of darkness and the mists of the underworld, and Nyx, the night. This makes Nyx one of the 11 protogenoi, or in other words, firstborn. Nyx and Erebus together bore the 3rd generation of protogenoi, including Ether, the god of light, and Hemera, the goddess of day, are opposites of their parents, night, Nyx, and darkness, Erebus. In addition to Ether and Hemera, Nyx and Erebus are also thought to be the parents of many other gods not considered to be protogenoi, including the Oniroi, god of dreams, the Kyris, goddess of violent and cruel death, the Hesperides, the goddess of evening and sunset, the Moirai, the Fates, Geras, the personification of old age, Oises, goddess of misery, Momus, god of blame, Apati, goddess of deceit, Eris, goddess of strife, Nemesis, goddess of retribution, Phyllotes, goddess of friendship, Hypnos, the god of sleep, Thanatos, Hypnos' twin brother and god of death. Except for Phyllotes, most of Nyx's offspring rule over life's darker aspects. So where does Nyx and this whole family of primordial gods reside? Nyx resides in Tartarus, the depths of the underworld primarily associated with eternal punishment. Many of the other dark deities, such as Erebus, also reside in Tartarus, the deepest depths of the underworld. It is said that every night, Nyx and Erebus would leave Tartarus to block out the light from their son Ether, god of day. In the morning, Nyx and Erebus would return to their home in Tartarus, while their daughter Hemera, goddess of light, would come out to wipe away the darkness of night and bring out the light of the world. While later Greek myths replaced the roles of Ether and Hemera with gods, like Eos, goddess of dawn, Helios, god of the sun, and Apollo, god of light, Nyx's role was never replaced by another god or goddess. This shows that the Greeks still held Nyx in high regard and regarded her as extremely powerful. Despite playing an important role at the beginning of creation, Nyx isn't a very prominent figure in Greek mythology. She doesn't appear in many myths and is generally mentioned in passing. This is quite common for the majority of the protogenoi and their successors, the Titans. In poems, Nyx is usually depicted as a shadowy figure, a veil of dark mist that floats across the sky, obscuring the light. Nyx was elevated to a greater prominence in some fragmentary poems attributed to Orpheus. Nyx, rather than chaos, is the initial principle from which all creation arises in them. Nyx resides in a cave where she bestows oracles. Cronus, the father of Zeus and many other Olympian gods, is imprisoned within, sleeping and intoxicated with honey, dreams, and prophecies. Alas, Zeus. What makes him so afraid of Nyx? Is there a story? Of course, there's a story. It is commonly thought that Nyx is the only goddess that Zeus is truly afraid of because she is older and more powerful than him. But the origins of his fear trace back to the mischiefs of Zeus's jealous and possessive wife Hera, the goddess of marriage and childbirth. She works together with Hypnos, the god of sleep, to trick Zeus. Hera desired more than anything to usurp the kingdom from her husband, because she deemed him unworthy to reign. She recognized that she lacked the strength necessary to defeat him alone and sought assistance from Hypnos. She convinced Hypnos to put her husband to sleep. Hypnos was not powerful enough to incapacitate Zeus completely. Hypnos used some magic to get Zeus to fall asleep, allowing Hera to work behind his back. However, Zeus wakes up and he's incensed by what the two had attempted. He immediately reconciled with Hera and directed his wrath towards Hypnos. Hypnos, out of dread, sought sanctuary in a cave guarded by his mother Nyx. When Zeus pursued him to the cave, he was confronted by Nyx. She pleaded with Zeus to halt his pursuit of her son, and because even the gods feared the protogenoi, he agreed and ran away. As father of the gods, Zeus is the most powerful among the Olympians. Many were afraid of Zeus as a mighty punisher of those who committed wrongdoings. Among his most famous punishments were that of Prometheus, who was condemned to having his liver eaten by eagles every day as punishment for giving fire to the human race, and of Sisyphus, who was condemned to roll a stone up a hill in the underworld for all of eternity as a punishment for his trickery. While Zeus faced a fair share of enemies, it is commonly thought that the only goddess Zeus was truly afraid of was Nyx. Being the goddess of the night, Nyx represented all things that were hidden and covered by darkness, and perhaps Zeus feared what he couldn't know or see, things lurking under the cover of the darkness of night and protected by Nyx. If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe and follow our channel for more videos like this one.